Hey y'all, it's your Missniecytv and I'm here to review for Season 8, Episode 19. The episode picks up with Fatima at Hayden's house talking to Tamara, and Tamara's like, I ain't got time for your stuff. I know that you're obsessed with Hayden. You coming over here and start lies is even low for you. Fatima's like, first of all, I'm not obsessed with him, and Hayden would be the last man on earth I would ever be obsessed with. And second of all, you wouldn't even be here if you wasn't so gullible. Tamara's like, exactly, and you cared so much to involve me in your vendetta against Hayden, now you're salty that I'm still around. Fatima's like, confused, yes, salty, no, especially now that I know what you got yourself caught into. Tamara's like, what you talking about? I'm not involved in anything, and I know that you don't have proof against Hayden for something that he didn't do, so why are you here? Fatima's like, to get the truth. Tamara's like, well, I know that you don't have proof that me and Hayden tried to stab Gary. Fatima's like, you're right, I don't have proof. Tamara's like, I knew you was lying. Fatima's like, I do have proof of something else, though, that you had motive. Tamara's like, you sound like a cop. Are you a cop now? Fatima's like, never that. But I'm just trying to make sure that me and mine don't get caught up in nothing. Fatima's like, you may have nothing to do with it, but the proof I do have will definitely make the boys in blue think you did. Fatima's like, you should be more concerned about what I saw. Fatima's like, Hayden ain't got nothing on me, that's what you said, right? Tamara's like, more lies. Fatima's like, you and Gary would have a bright future in porn if scamming don't work out for you. Then Fatima shows her the video, and Tamara's like, how'd you get that? Give it to me. Tamara tries to lunge for the phone, and Fatima's like, don't do that. So Fatima slaps her bloody onto the floor, right? Fatima's like, F around and find out. Now that we got that out the way, can we move this along? Tamara's like, where did you get that video? Fatima's like, don't worry about that. Fatima's like, you need to be more concerned about what the police will think when they found out that Hayden was mad that Gary slept with his little bird. Tamara's like, what's that got to do with me? Fatima's like, you're not slick. I know you caught feelings for Hayden. Tamara's like, what do you want from me, Fatima? Fatima's like, what I want is the truth. And then she starts asking Tamara about what happened the night of the wedding, if Tamara's actually did it, right? Tamara's like, you think a bloody nose is actually gonna make me talk? Fatima's like, you're a lot tougher than I thought. I guess we gotta do this the hard way now. So Fatima picks up her phone, she calls Madam. She has a little conversation with Madam, and she basically tells Madam that Tamara's giving her a hard time. Madam's basically like, put her on the phone, so Fatima passes the phone to Tamara, and Tamara's like, I'm not living in fear over you or your wretched ass cousin. That was the worst decision she could ever make. Why would you hang up on that lady knowing that that lady was crazy? Over at Andy's penthouse, we see Andy get off the elevator crying, and she gets off the elevator and she doesn't realize that Danny's in there. It's like, Danny, aren't you supposed to be at work? Danny doesn't even say hi, hello, how you doing? Danny just goes into, how many years would I get for burning the whole airport down? Andy's like, what happened? Danny goes into the whole situation about what happened at the airport and let her know. She basically tells Andy that Tony was the one that fired her. And then she changes it up and says, Tony didn't actually fire me, he was just the one that came to deliver the news that I'm suspended without pay. Danny basically says that Leonard had it coming because he kept insinuating that all I do is lay on my back and that's how I got where I am. And he's like, I know those accusations could be frustrating, but I wish you would have thought about what you did before you retaliated. Danny's like, you sound just like Tony, and that's what made me mad. Because he was in there acting like he didn't know what was going on. Andy notices that Andy been crying, right? So she asked Andy how she been crying, and Andy's like, this is not about me, we're talking about you. Danny's like, if you got another attempted murder/wedding plan, let me know now. Danny's like, I know you too well, what happened? Andy's like, well, me and Jordan broke up for real this time. Danny's like, y'all done? Andy's like, yeah, we're done. Danny's like, what happened? Andy starts listening to everything that went on in their relationship, from jail, murder, robbing, Penelope, Gary, blackmail, all this other stuff, right? And he's like, well, that is a lot of stuff to go through in one relationship, and once you go through a lot of stuff with somebody in a relationship, it's hard to come back from. And he's like, I thought me and Jordan could get through anything, but it's too much damage, just stupid. Danny's like, well, that's how I feel about Tony. Andy's like, let me ask you something, do you love him? Tony's like, yeah, but it's just the same cycle, all we do is fight, doing a little bit of getting down in there, and then it's the same cycle. And he's like, why you ask me that, though? And he's like, I just wanted to know just in case you take legal action because there could be some consequences against Tony. Danny was like, Tony wasn't thinking about me today, so I gotta do what's best for me and think about my livelihood. Danny's like, so you gonna help me? And he's like, yeah, but I gotta figure out how to get my job back first, and then I'll. Over at Karen's house, Miss Lisa walks in and she's looking for Karen because nobody's in the living room and nobody's around. So she goes into Karen's room and she sees Karen cuddling with Aaron, and she's like, not twice in one day. Karen's like, what you talking about? And she's like, don't worry. Aaron is now all embarrassed and scared, right? He's like, what do I say? Karen's like, you ain't gotta say nothing, I'm grown. Aaron's like, I get all that, but your mom is kind of crazy and she likes to pull out her gun. Miss Lisa comes back in the room and she's like, Aaron, I asked you to keep an eye on Karen to make sure she was relaxed. And while I went to go check on the salon, Aaron's like, if it's any consolation, she does look relaxed to me. Miss Lisa's like, do I have to get my gun? Karen's like, Mama, chill out. Me and Aaron was just cuddling when we walked in. Miss Lisa's like, cuddling my behind. I know what a good squirrel looks like when I see one. Then she asked Aaron to leave the room so that she could talk to Karen, and Karen's like, Aaron, you don't have to leave. Aaron's like, I think it's best if I do, so Aaron leaves, and Miss Lisa's like, so how was it? Karen's like, Mama. Miss Lisa's like, well, you don't have to be so bashful now. Was this just like a pregnancy thing, or you and Aaron are getting back together? Aaron's like, we talked about it. We admit that we both have feelings for each other. We're just taking it slow. Miss Lisa's like, okay, but this is not about you anymore. It's about your babies too. Karen's like, I know that. Miss Lisa's like, well, you was glowing. You and Aaron must have really got it on. Over at the brink, we see Maurice talking to Sabrina, and he's joking with her about her clothes like he always does, but Sabrina's not in the mood for it today because she has a lot on her mind. Maurice is like, well, let's go out for drinks so we can talk about it later. Sabrina's like, I can't do that. I have dinner with Rich later. Maurice is like, so that's what it is. And then Sabrina's like, she goes into the whole thing about Rich and Damani and the eggs and everything else. She also brings up the work trip that she's going to Turks and Caicos for work, and Maurice is like, Turks and Caicos too. Screw the drinks, we gotta go shopping to get you some new clothes because you ain't going out there. Maurice asks Sabrina, is Damani gonna be there? Sabrina's like, yeah. Maurice gets all excited because he's like, Damani gonna hunt on you. Sabrina's like, it's not even like. Maurice brings up the fact that he knows that Sabrina didn't have sex with Rich and she got her eggs evacuated. Sabrina's like, they were harvested. Sabrina's like, I'm about to go have a hard conversation with my man and all you could offer me is jokes. Maurice is like, that's who I am. I'm here to lighten your spirit. Sabrina's like, I wonder if me and Rich are gonna be okay. Maurice is like, you and Rich are gonna be okay. You just need to. Over at Andy's penthouse, Danny and Andy are still talking about everything that's going on with Jordan and Tony and their relationships and stuff. And this is when Andy gets a call from Fatima telling her that it's go time. Fatima got a call from somebody at the job saying that there was a partner meeting going on. And she called Andy and let her know. And Andy's like, I'm on my way. Over at Zach and Fatima are talking about everything that went down at Hayden's house. Zach is like, so how did it go? Fatima's like, it was cool. Zach is like, she must have turned on him quick since y'all were by yourselves. Fatima's like, not necessarily. I had to pimp slap her because she tried to take the phone from me. Zach is like, the baby okay? Fatima's like, yeah, but Tamara won't be. Fatima goes on to tell Zach that she called Madam and Madam is supposed to handle the situation, and Zach is like, oh wow. Fatima's like, well, I can't worry about it because Tamara brought it on herself. Fatima's like, we still don't know who stabbed Gary and we're getting closer to the deadline and they didn't want set for us. We gotta figure something out, but I can't worry about it right now because I gotta go to the office. So she leaves. Over at the hotel, Hayden goes over to see Miss Marie, and Miss Marie is like, I'm normally the one that's calling, you must need some. Hayden's basically trying to butter her up to see if she would help him get Gary's power of attorney rescinded. Marie is basically like, what that got to do with you and why you want to help him? Hayden's like, Gary said that he needed help, and I'm not trying to get all into that right now. Hayden does what needs to be done, and he leaves. Marie calls the judge, and she's like, I heard that you was trying to sign those papers to get Gary's POA rescinded. I can't have that. Marie, what did you do to Gary? Over at Danny's house, Tony comes over and he's like, thank you for agreeing to see me. Danny's like, well, I might as well be at my house since I won't be at work for a while. Then Tony goes into the situation that happened at the job and how she poured coffee on Leonard in front of HR. Danny's like, well, you want to tell me I'm wrong or what? Then Tony is like, how you gonna catch attitude with me over something that you did? Danny's like, wait a minute. You're the one that actually started this because you was the one that got me into the leadership program after the deadline. Tony's like, there you go, you don't want to take accountability for nothing. Danny's like, wait a minute, you don't want to take accountability either. You're the one that did this. It's like, first of all, you got me into that program and I didn't even want it and you didn't even ask me. When I tried to tell you how I felt about it, you didn't want to listen. Danny basically feels that Tony didn't protect her because she was the only woman in the room that got fired and Leonard was the one that actually targeted her. Tony's like, well, I'm listening now, and the more I'm listening, it makes it painfully obvious that we're never going to agree on this. Danny's like, I guess you're right, you're always right. Tony's like, well, I gotta go. I'll be back later. Danny's like, hey, don't worry about that. You ain't gotta come back. Tony's like, what you saying? Danny's like, I'm saying I need space. Tony's like, so I don't do well with space, so you trying to break up with me? Danny's like, no, I'm just saying that I need space. He's like, call me when you figure out what space actually means and when you want me back in your life. Back over at Karen's, Pam comes over there and she's acting all suspicious. She's asking if Miss Lisa's there. Did Miss Lisa say anything to her? Karen's like, what would she say? Pam is like, don't worry about it. Karen is like, well, did Aaron say something to you? Pam is like, no, and then they're both confused about what each other is talking about. So Pam is like, I should be asking you about Aaron. Are y'all getting back together? Karen is like, that's the road that it looks like we're going on. Karen tells Pam that Miss Marie called her and told her that Rooster Riches could be a retail stores and all they gotta do is prove that they could double their sales and actually sell products. Pam is like, well, that's gonna be hard because you look like you about to pop and I'm already selling more than I ever thought I could. Karen's like, I'm up for the challenge if you are. I know it's gonna be difficult, but I'm still a hustler and we gotta get it done. Pam is like, of course. Over at the restaurant, Sabrina finally meets with Rich for dinner and she's like, well, I just want to tell you that you embarrassed me in front of Damani, who works for my company, and how would you feel if I did that to you? Rich is like, well, I was in my feelings, I was jealous. Then they start talking about the whole IVF process, and Rich is like, well, I don't want you to have a baby with Damani. I want us to do it the old-fashioned way. Sabrina's like, well, it's too late. I already gave permission to use Damani's sample, and this is a decision that I made for me, and I'm choosing myself. Over at the law firm, Andy and Fatima are walking in on all black, and they're ready to stand on business. Robin's in the meeting, and he's like, you know why we're here. This was supposed to be a partner meeting to welcome Andy Barneston, but things didn't happen that way. Robin's talking, he sees Andy and Fatima at the corner of his eye, and by then, Fatima went to go grab her baseball bat, and he's like, what are you ladies doing here? Fatima's like, Andy's not here to see you. Andy's like, I see that you called another meeting. Robin's like, yeah, to announce that I'll be sticking around as managing partner. The ladies start laughing. And Robin's like, did I say something amusing? Fatima's like, you might want to cancel that speech. Robin's like, I don't understand. Andy's like, you will. So they walk into the meeting. And Andy's like, hello. Andy's like, I know time is money, so I won't waste your time. Mr. Benson's like, what's the meaning of all this? Andy's like, that's a good question, Mr. Benson. I'm here to talk about the job offer y'all gave me, but y'all rescinded it without merit, and now I'm here to get my job. Mr. Benson is like, so this is how we conduct ourselves in partner meetings now to Robin, right? And before Robin could say something, Jones is like, be quiet. Andy's like, basically, y'all suspended me. Andy's basically like, y'all suspended me without proof that I actually committed this crime. Y'all have no evidence against me, so y'all falsely suspended me. Andy's like, in this folder, I have support letters from clients, district attorneys, and judges that are repulsed at the fact that y'all gave me the offer of managing partner, but y'all rescinded. Robin's like, well, I told you that you were suspended without pay pending the outcome of 2 federal cases. Andy's like I said, there's no proof that I actually committed this crime, so y'all gave me my job back effectively immediately where I walk. Then this is when Miss Marie walks in and she's like, if you don't give her job back, I'm walking with her. Mr. Benson's like, hey Marie, how you doing? Maria's like, save it, I did enough ass kissing for one day. Andy's like, y'all reinstate me and give me my job back and make good on your word? If not, I'm walking out and taking countless of clients with me. So they do a vote and everybody agreed, including Robin, that Andy could get her job. So after the meeting, Andy and Robin have a conversation and Andy's like, just admit that you're a loser. Robin's like, you know what, I'm actually proud of you. Robin's like, this just proved everything that I thought you could be. Andy's like, I wish that you would stop saying that this was some test that I passed. Robin's like, well, there you go, trying to make it personal. This was all about business. Andy's like, Robin's like, there you go, the thought of us being together scares you. Andy's like, this is not about us being together. I did this for me. He's like, since I'm managing partner now, I have a lot of work to do, so I might as well get to doing it. Over at the hospital, Jordan goes to see Gary and they have a conversation, and Jordan's like, the devil's really alive. Gary's like, I think you have the wrong room. Jordan's like, no, I don't. You need to pay for everything that you did to my sister. Gary's like, who, your sister? I don't know who you talking. Jordan's like, my sister lost her baby because of you. You're the one that murdered her baby, and it terrified me to know that she was missing. It's like, I'm gonna tell you like I told your crazy behind sister. I don't remember nothing. Jordan's like, so you don't remember Penelope, but you remember everything about Andy. Gary's like, of course I do. She's the love of my life. Jordan takes it upon himself and he says, you will never know peace as long as you're breathing. Start calling for security because he knows something about to happen, and Jordan's like, shut up. You deserve to die, and you won't have a miraculous recovery after this one. Then he takes it upon himself and starts strangling. Look over Hayden's house. Hayden comes home from work and he sees Tamara sitting there with an ice pack on her face, and he asks her what happened. She tells him everything that went down with Fatima and how Fatima got the video. She didn't say nothing. Hayden's like, you should call the parents. Like, we can't do that. The next thing you know, we see doors getting knocked off the hinges. Some guys walk in, they have blickies and everything. They start pistol whipping Hayden. Mara's screaming, Hayden, Hayden, Hayden. The guys get up after they beat the crap out of Hayden, pistol whip them, slap them up, and they leave. Guys, y'all did what y'all had to do, but y'all didn't do a good enough job, because Madden would have made sure that Hayden was dead. And Tamara too for witnessing. Let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Bye!